Yeah, where are these guys? Where's the midnight guy? Okay. Well, they're kind of back in. Okay, so I think we're going to get started here, everybody. I just want to give a huge thanks to everybody who showed up, the teams, everybody who came to see the demos today. This is awesome. We had a great turnout for this one. And if you enjoyed this event, if you participated and you enjoyed, or if this was cool, you came to just check it out, tell your friends about this, because we definitely want to get as many people involved in this community as we can. We've grown a ton over the last couple years, thanks to a lot of important people, Kent especially. So, yeah, but we want to keep
say that.
Yeah. So I'll expect my endorsement. So yeah, tell your friends, tell anybody you think would be interested, even if you don't think they'd be interested, maybe they will. We want to keep growing and keep these awesome events happening. So hopefully you know why you're here. This is Startup Weekend. This is the 5th one that we've done here in Wichita. This is spring 2015. We've been doing one about every 6 months now. And yeah, it keeps growing, keeps getting better. It's awesome because we've seen so many new faces at this one, which just means that we are definitely growing. So I want to give a quick shout out to all of our sponsors. We have a lot, so I have to write them on a piece of paper. Give a big thanks to Martin Pringle, the Labor Party. It's the venue we're at right now. They've been a huge staple for this community. The Chamber of Commerce and their Entrepreneurship Task Force, Baseline Creative, Network Kansas, Uptime Devices, CallCap, the Labor Party's on here again, but I'll go ahead and say it. The Butler IT Institute, Hotel Old Town, they donated the room for our facilitator, which is awesome. Donut Hole, so the donuts that you guys have been enjoying were all donated. That's awesome as well. And then, so those are all our local sponsors. We also have some national sponsors. We have Up Global, .co, and Google for Entrepreneurs. So, pretty big list there. So yeah, just one more big thanks, and I'm going to hand it over to our facilitator, Jeff, and he's going to give you a rundown of what we're about to see. Thank you. All right.
So I'm not from Wichita, and this has been an awesome introduction to the Wichita. On? Can you hear me all right? No? How's that?
There we go.
Okay. So I'm not from Wichita, I'm from Houston, Texas, and I flew up here specifically for this event, and what an amazing introduction to the Wichita startup community. This is an incredible place. You all are very lucky to have found one another and to have a place to gather. So before I go any further, I wanted to introduce some of the judges here. We have Beth Tully, who's the owner of Coco Dolce, an artisan chocolate store here in town. So we have Lou Heldman, the VP of Communications from Wichita State University. And we have hometown hero Ken Hansen, the Director of Marketing for Balance.com and one of the founders of the Labor Party. The best. So over the next hour, you're going to hear from 5 teams. These teams have burned the midnight oil. They've worked all night for the last 54 hours, conceiving of an idea and developing a product, going out and finding customers and getting customer validation, and ultimately spinning it all together into a pitch just for you. Each team is going to pitch for 7 minutes, and then they're going to have judges' feedback and Q&A. The order of the teams, so for the teams here in the audience, the first up is Go Coach, then Misfits, then Wise Socket, fourth is Hub Suit, and rounding it out is NFP Pro. So this is Startup Weekend Wichita. Let's get started. First up is Go Coach.
Thank you.
You had the official timer? Or,
Now I do.
Yeah, we need to. You're right here. It's okay.
I have some like 2-minute out stuff here. So there's like a little flag. I'll just hold it up.
Yeah,
It's like
if you
2
want.
minutes.
Okay.
I have
The
like 1
squishes.
minute out. Do what?
Yeah,
the squishes.
I like if we are selling too well, please knock it down as well. I want you to hold this to some sort of change. Yes. The squishes. Yeah, just change it. Doesn't know what's on my screen.
So I'm just gonna say, so I'm Kristen Smith. It was my first time being lead organizer, and Seth and Naomi. But Seth and Naomi helped me out a ton probably more than I even did. But with being the first time lead organizer, there's little humps and little things that we forgot, like printing off the judges' score sheets. So bear with us. We're taking care of that now, and then we'll get started with the first presentation. Thank you.
You got a song and dance?
Oh. I also talked about today, but you can't look at that yet. So that's on my side. So for your entertainment, we can take this extra time to explain what our app does. What did we learn this weekend, Travis? I want everybody to know that we love you for who you are. Each and every one of you. There's a lot of people here. Thank you guys for supporting all of this. Well, they're not here for you. Well, I mean, they're here for you, obviously. I was here for free. Yeah, you really didn't get sleep. Making our app prototype, which you guys won't even see the function of, but there are some things that function. A lot of high time functions. Yeah. Actually, that's one of the things that I really learned is that you end up spending your time on a lot of things that don't even get judged. You should have seen what this room looked like about 20 minutes ago, though. There were Post-it notes on the walls, like crazy. Okay. I was introduced to new kinds of Post-it notes that I didn't even know existed. Yeah, it's like a big Post-it. There's a gift bag. Every lesson we were giving back to me. You guys want to judge us? That's terrible. No, I'm going to be like down here. What happens? I didn't know if I needed to crouch already. I don't know. It's just like printing. It's we do. Unfortunately, and now we're printing
Hey, Seth. Hey, Seth.
Pleasure to be standing in front of you. Yeah. What a handsome group of judges we got today. And you guys smell great too.
I think so.
No.
I think they're all set.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Ladies and gentlemen, go coach. Woo!
I want fitness. Who doesn't want fitness? I'm a normal person. I love it. Well, why don't I have fitness? Why am I still seeking it? I don't have maybe the motivation to get fitness. I don't have the time, and I definitely don't have the knowledge. I don't know about you, but walking to the gym is sometimes very intimidating. Well, how can I solve this? How can I get fit? I could get a personal trainer, right? But who gets personal trainers? That'd be expensive. It'd add time to my workout, and it wouldn't be on my schedule, right? I'd have to meet with them at their schedule. Well, what if I could get a personal trainer on my schedule? Well, with Go Coach, I can. With Go Coach, we offer personalized exercise plans. Users can fill out a survey of their budget, their fitness goals, and they can be matched with physical trainers who are certified through our system. They aren't necessarily in their area. In fact, they don't even necessarily have to meet each other for it to work. You can get personalized workouts with clear, detailed instructions, videos on how to do everything, and most importantly, it's personalized to you, and you can do it exactly on your schedule. The way that we allow you to do it on your schedule is with videos, simple videos. After every workout, you take a video of yourself telling your trainer how the workout went, giving them feedback on the workout. We have a full chatting, just like text messages, I guess. And you can send that to your physical trainer. They can then, on their time, review your video, change your workout plan, give you feedback, give you motivation, congratulate you on the workout, and send it back to you. You can review that on your time, get your next workout recipe the next day. It also allows you to do it at your cost, because our physical trainers, they set their own costs. So you can set what kind of cost you want to pay, and then you get matched up with somebody and choose them based on what you can afford. On the other side, maybe I'm a physical trainer, and I want my life back. I would absolutely love to have time or energy after I'm done working. I would also really love to be able to get all of my knowledge and expertise to a larger audience, because I'm only one person and I can only meet with so many people in a given day. Well, what if I can expand my client base? What if I can save my energy, save my time, and actually handle more clients? With Go Coach, I'm able to do that. Go Coach allows physical trainers to sign in, log in, register, prove that they're certified trainers, and they can then begin picking up clients. They set their price, they set their workout style, they fill out their profile, and then other users begin to become matched up with them. They see them and they choose them to choose as a physical trainer. They can manage their clients. They have a very easy and organized workout template to be able to create workouts for to meet the user's needs, as well as just being able to manage multiple clients at the same time.
So we just looked at two sort of stories of common people who in this world of physical training, personal training, who aren't getting their needs met. And it's not just that these are stories that we imagine, but these are things that people are saying. In our survey, we went ahead and found out that 75% of our respondents, wanted to work out more. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. That matches the kinds of things that we hear. And of those 75 people, 75%, 60% believe that having a personal trainer who could message them and hold them accountable. So this accountability piece was really strong. This was mirrored all over and over when we were talking with people about what kinds of things would help them actually work out. And people did also think that somehow having a notification come through a phone would do the trick. This was an interesting one. People, a lot of people do say that they don't think that they know how to plan workouts for themselves. Next slide. Go ahead and go to the next one. Okay. So with GoCoach, a lot of the onus is on the coaches to bring people into the app, and so it is our job then to get coaches into the app. And then if we're able to do that, which we're able to do because it costs nothing to join the app for a coach, they start being charged when they do have users, and those users are paying them at what they set. They pay us a fixed rate for those users per month. We have a model that starts at $7 per user per month. It goes down from there. One thing that we do know about this is that there are other competitors in this market, so other people believe in this opportunity. But those competitors are either focusing on companies that or are focusing on people who want to train at a high degree and get a lot of data, or they're looking to hire coaches in a traditional gym model. We're looking to create a marketplace that opens this up for normal people, for people who don't already see the workout out for themselves. Next slide. Our back of the napkin math for how we can make this work is that we're thinking that through this app, you could have an average coach who could have 12 clients. We'd be charging them $550 for those clients. 750 coaches on the app is what we want to have at the end of the first year of promoting this heavily. That's $50,000 a month in revenue. You take out the cost for that. We could break even for a $100,000 investment on this in 9 months. And if we keep growing that, we could set a goal of a yearly net profit for year 2 of $1 million. GoCoach. We need $100,000 in investment to finish building it and build the full system for this. Otherwise, it's covered in the monthly expenses. I'm Nathan Miller. We've got my teammate Travis here. We've got Kevin in the back, and we've got Alex, our designer, over there. Thanks, guys.
Say it for questions.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You're more than welcome to have the rest of the team come up
Yeah.
with you.
Sure. Yeah. Alex as well.
Or if they don't want to.
Yeah. They don't have to. They don't have to.
Oh, I think they should have.
Oh, wait, yeah, they should. Good. Got one more. He's on his head. Yes. All right.
I just have a couple of pretty rudimentary questions.
Give her the microphone, please. I'm sorry.
I can shout out.
There you go.
Okay. Oh, I love a microphone.
Yeah.
Just a couple of questions around your survey. Did you, when you were out speaking, were you speaking to trainers as well? Have you queried them? Because I would think that might be a saturation in this market. Just I'm the one that doesn't work out at a gym. I'm sure.
We did speak with a few trainers, and they expressed things like being interested in something that had that much flexibility. There was a little bit of pushback from some trainers, especially people who were saying things like, safety is really important, and working out with these people is really important. In some ways that we're trying to integrate that into this idea is not forcing you to not meet with someone. This platform has the use case of Even if it's someone in Wichita who is my trainer, I can meet with them occasionally. But for times when they think I've got it figured out, I think I've got it figured out. They can just send me suggested workouts in the meantime. And also, we really tried to think about how we could add some more of the videos or how to keep the safety in place. For the most part, this idea of as the saturation, as if the competitors are for the most part, the trainers that we spoke to weren't aware of our competitors.
How many trainers did you speak to?
7.
A little note to that, 7, is that we had found out through asking them basically what their average client base would be and how many clients they would have on average. And we found what was the number, about 10 to 16 or so.
They can
It's a little
typically
less than that.
support around 4 to 8.
That's right.
16 on the higher level. It depends on how long they spend per client.
And so based on our survey and the number of trainers versus the number of other people that we had, it supported those numbers as well. So it's about what we assumed we would get in terms of personal trainers versus the other side.
Are they unaffiliated trainers, or are these trainers that are at the Y or at the gym now? Or?
Well, I know that most of them were affiliated trainers.
But we did have at least one.
So that leads perfectly into a question that I have down here. Because the gym is going to be a place that connects trainees to trainers, are you anticipating gym kickback on this idea that they're not going to want to have people who use this app, like a non-compete type setup? Have you looked at that at all? Has that come up?
One of the things that we're actually looking at is going into maybe white labeling it and having it integrate into their system so that they could actually use the platform and it would help out what they're trying to do.
So you're looking at integrating into the gym management platforms. Wouldn't that be competing with the gym management platforms at that point? Like, do they have open APIs or?
I
don't know. All right. So one, you don't know.
Can you talk about the target market and how you determine it and how you reach it?
Sure. Well, we started at first because of because of an experience that Kevin had, where he was having the experience of I go to the gym 3 times a week, but I have to think way too much about what am I going to do when I get there. And there's all these machines and they're intimidating, and so and then you also had a conversation with someone who's becoming a personal trainer, and she was saying there's no good way for me to start out or to try building a clientele. And so we started with that idea of because and then in talking to people, we learned that there's a group of people who do work out, who like fitness, but they're we need to find a nice way to say this, but they're not gym rats. They don't want to put the time into figuring it all out, and they also throw out this that I don't want to pay for a personal trainer. And so we are kind of looking at a young demographic, for our core target. Being that it is a mobile app, we're looking for people who are plugged into technology. Look at the 4 of us, and maybe we're looking at our target demographic. But the idea is that it can build out from there for anyone who experiences these feelings.
On the other side of that, we do also have another market, which is personal trainers. We developed the tool at the very beginning, really just all the way through. It is first and foremost a tool for personal trainers to open up their clientele base, to be able to reach more people and to be more effective with their training.
That's a question, or that leads to another question I have.
It wasn't supposed to.
Have you validated this form factor with the coaches, with the trainers, that it's something they can use? Is it open enough? Is it closed enough to where they can pass the notes they need to along? Is it easy for them to use? Are there templating systems tailored to them? Has it been designed with them in mind?
I would say there are a lot of open questions about the actual dynamics of the templating and the communicating workout system. This ties directly back into, something I was saying earlier, that there were some concerns that were raised around, I don't know if I can communicate as quality of information as I can, but the personal trainers that we talked to did say that they could communicate unique, they could communicate something that was personalized and unique. So, I trust them that we could get something that's better than you could just look up online or generate out of the program.
Because it's personal.
Exactly, because it's personalized.
And they can use the app effectively to do that. Have you gotten their feedback saying that they can use this tool that way?
From descriptions of from descriptions of the tool, not from mock-ups of the tool.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. All right. How about a hand for Go Coach? Up next, we have Misfits. You can keep those applause going for Misfits.
All right. We are Misfits, and I'd like to start out with a quote today. As a young woman working in a field long dominated by men, networking opportunities that would allow women in my position to sidestep these established by the old guard would be warmly welcomed. Instead of learning how to play the game, we'd be better served simply making up our own. This quote came when we sent out a little survey from an associate professor at a university, and this is what we are going for here at Misfits. The old form of mentor and mentee is insufficient, and here we are taking the network to a whole new level. We focus on peer-to-peer connections.
So what we found in our research, both the primary qualitative research mentioned there by Britain, as well as secondary research that we found from social media companies and academic institutions, is that there are very specific reasons why women don't reach out to each other for help. I can't find the right, or just to make a connection about similar interests, etc. I haven't found the right person, or nobody ever asked me, And so what we want to do is really remove those objections and make it just almost painfully easy for them to create those communities and build their own custom networks themselves. So we created Misfits. And right now, it's in the form of a website where they can go and connect with other women by simply logging in, creating a user name, if you will, and then building a profile using our own proprietary tool. Sort of a la what you see with eHarmony, they really tout, and Match.com. And we plan on working with social scientists and behavioral psychologists to really build something that is very genuine and very personal, that really speaks to the things that are personal and professional that they really care about, not just who they're connected to, who they know in common, where they work, where they went to school, etc. So then what it does is we actually are looking at creating an algorithm based on actual open source code that exists, that's in use right now by Match.com and eHarmony. About 70% of what they use is open source. We've also talked to actual women coders already, and they've actually given us some idea of what that project entails, the scope, the scale, what it could cost. Then we don't want to reinvent the wheel in terms of connection. We just basically want them to connect with each other on their own, at least for now. Later on, we want to provide some value-adding tools on our site that they can use and use those as revenue generators. But right now, we just want them to choose to connect using LinkedIn, Facebook, email. They want to exchange cell phone numbers, text each other, whatever, and essentially build that network themselves. Sort of like this young lady who is a model and entrepreneur. She says, even as a successful established businesswoman, I found great benefit from creating my network with misfits.
So one of the first things that we wanted to do was reach out to the community and see if any women would actually be interested in doing this. So we asked their opinion on the Misfits model and sent out our mission statement, and we're kind of blown away with the results that we got. We were able to reach women in the public service sector, the medical field, university students, and women in the technology field, all ages ranging from 21 to 57. And here are a few of the responses. This is a great idea for women of all walks of life, to provide a single source for the encouragement, resources, motivation, and information a woman needs, no matter her situation or goals, is paramount today. Absolutely a resource I would use, and student and single mother. This is a great idea. Being in a sorority now, I'm lucky to have something similar to the kind of support that Misfits program seems to offer. I would definitely seek an opportunity like this out in the future after seeing how beneficial a network of women can be. Having a community of like-minded women to support you, push you to be better, and walk with you along the way is vital to success. And this was a 21-year-old.
Thank you. So again, the key success factors we feel are to leverage those relationships with folks that care about this, networks, women-owned businesses, et cetera. Use existing technology. And what we also really need to do is we need to create our first premium tier, if you will, a la LinkedIn, where they came in a few years after they got out there. They added content, curated content, influencers, et cetera, and started charging about $10 a month for people to do that. In order to get the word out, eventually, once we get up and going, we really feel there's going to be a lot of organic growth and opportunities to offer referral bonuses and incentives to people that sign up with us. But really in the beginning, we're going to have to do things like a lot of online advertising, PR events, et cetera, to make it work. In the first year, right off the bat, we think we need about 50,000, escalating up to 150,000, and then eventually about 500,000, which will tee us up for our first year of real growth in the second year. So that's kind of what we're asking for. That's our mix of sources of funds, some charter members, investors, in-kind investors, and benefactors or donors. Our uses of funds are going to be obviously about 50% promotion because we really need to drive traffic, some development, software. We're going to have some place to store all the data, so we're going to have to pay for that, hardware, staff, and some administrative expenses. You've got some details there in your business plan in terms of sort of our assumptions as to how we build our user base and the financials that relate to that. But you can see that's kind of the curve that we're looking at from year one or phase one out to phase 6. So thank you.
Woo!
Dang, we went over.
Is your team or more team coming up?
One thing yeah, that's a great question. Thank you, Ken. We formed the team, but then we had a lot of people kind of come around us and help us out this weekend to make this happen. And it was a lot of fun. My first startup weekend, not my first startup necessarily, but my first startup weekend, and it was a blast. And to see the outpouring and the collaboration that goes on was fantastic. So yeah, we have a pretty long list of people we could say. Thanks. Thanks.
So I wanted to first clarify something. The tool itself, like Misfits, I assume .com, is going to do what exactly?
The main goal, and really the only goal right now out of the gate, is to
create that profile generator and the matching engine so that we can create those matches. So that if you go on there and you're a woman that's looking for certain things and you submitted your profile,
Which I am.
and I am as well, then I might pop up on your screen anonymously, but as say a 77% match. And then there's an invite button, you click that, I get it, I decide if we're simpatico, then maybe I want to reach out via whatever.
So in a dating style website where you make a match on the tool and then everything else is handled through your own email, LinkedIn, Twitter, however you want to handle it.
For now.
Okay. What do you say for now? And then what? And then happens.
We think there are opportunities in the future to merchandise the engine, if you will, and the profile, and sort of ancillary tools out to businesses, companies, industries, associations that might need things for hiring practices to match people to their cultures, employee training, things like that. Or maybe, they want to do their own proprietary programs. There are companies out there with hundreds of thousands of employees. So maybe they just want to have their own little network internally that we could help them create from a consulting standpoint or something like that.
But really,
And then a lot of content, celebrity content curated.
And so it's like step one is make the connection, and then step two is figure out what comes after making the connection. Okay.
And we've got some of that stuff noted in there.
Yeah.
In our phases.
I'll read through that for sure.
Thank you.
I mean that too. I really will.
Thank you.
You have a lot of quotes, both in here and you had a lot of quotes in your presentation. It seemed like they were coming from the younger, the mentee section. Did you get validation from the mentor?
We would like you to not use the mentor-mentee, because that's not what we're going here.
Okay.
We're doing peer-to-peer.
Okay.
We're kind of putting to eliminate that hierarchy.
I think,
And
right, and I think you'll really totally identify with this, Ken. The idea is, say, again, I'm a woman, and maybe I have 10 areas of my life that are very important to me. Work, personal, kids, school, life goals, whatever. And I only feel that maybe right now 6 of those are really clicking on all cylinders. And that if I had 4 more connections or some blend of people that I could connect with to sort of fill in those, then I'd be a little bit more fully functioning, maybe more effective, happier, more fulfilled, successful, whatever you define that condition as. And so that could come in the form of a mentor-mentee, teacher-student, sensei, grasshopper relationship, or just, buddies.
how old are you?
I don't see age. Age ain't nothing but a number. I was honestly, I love that. This isn't a question, so maybe I should form it as one. No. I love the idea that you're doing it as peer-to-peer. Absolutely. I heard you say that, I wrote it down, ignored it on my list.
That's okay.
That makes so much more sense than, I'm really good at something. And so now, it's one of the reasons why I'm preaching now.
That's
So
okay.
I'll stop.
Go.
I like it.
But the fact that you bring it up in that way, I think, really brings up the idea that we discovered in our process this weekend, which is the problem of women having difficulty connecting with each other is not the problem. The problem is we haven't figured out how to fix the problem. It's like, hunger's the problem? No. The fact that we don't have a mechanism to take care of hunger is the problem. Let's work on that part of the equation. Then we can actually make a difference.
Just one more question, it's about financials. You say, and then I'll pass it on, I'm not trying to hug myself,
That's all right.
I apologize.
That's okay.
I just figured it, yeah, sorry. So you say 50,000 and then 250,000. Phase 1 is 50,000, is that correct?
Well, we said 50,000 sort of right off the bat.
Okay.
Get going. And we do believe that some of that may be cash and some of that may be in-kind support in terms of development and things like that from people who really believe in it and they want to get it up, get it going, let's start rolling. Then the next 100,000 would really be the idea of really starting to do some promotion and lay the groundwork for staff and things like that. And then kind of the second half of that phase one, if you will, is where we want to look for about 350,000 to really lay the groundwork for a launch pad into phase two, which is where some of our real growth starts to occur, because we're really starting to push some ads. And,
So
awareness
phase two is
and-
when revenue generation. Oh, let me ask it a better way. When does revenue generation kick in?
phase two.
Phase two.
Well, revenue generation in terms of an actual membership that we're charging.
And so
And we think we figured pretty conservatively on the number of our visitors and members who actually do this.
you mentioned the LinkedIn style pay to play type thing. Like
For that part.
Okay. Do you have revenue generation in phase one at all?
No, we don't.
So Kickstarter, grant money, like I'm thinking of things that
Yeah,
sources of
exactly. Donors,
Okay.
in kind, and then some investors who are saying, okay, I see a net present value on this thing over 6-7 years of X million dollars, so I'm willing to kick in $500,000 right now up front, because I see an 80% probability of getting that back.
Great, thank you. I really like the idea. I really hope that it happens. So that won't affect my judging.
Thank you for this weekend.
I had very little to do with this weekend, so thank them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did we have more questions?
Could you,
Yeah, go ahead.
could you each talk about your background and why you have a passion for this project?
My name is Brittany Kuppelman. I'm actually the director of the Women Who Code Wichita Network. And one of the things that I've really been trying to push is mentoring, and I want to create a mentor program. But the more we think about it, the more we talk about it, the more it's just not really going to work. We don't have any platform to really use. And the idea just kind of doesn't really stick. And so when I heard about this pitch going on, I was like, well, I kind of want to get in on that. And then the more we talked about it, the more it became peer-to-peer, the more I realized that that is actually what already is naturally happening in my group. And so, yeah, I'm 100% behind it.
I've always been a big fan of mentoring, Lou, and connections and peer-to-peer and things like that in all venues, if you will. I was mentored early on, that was important, and I had peers that helped me out, got me through college, accounting sometimes. But it was on a recent trip to Kansas City to visit my folks when my 16-year-old daughter was in the back seat snoozing, listening to whatever on her iPhone music. And I looked back and watched her kind of snoozing, and I thought, man, she's going to be going to college after next year. And wouldn't it be really cool if she could get connected with somebody, especially if she goes out of state and doesn't know anybody or something like that, or somebody's, and establish her own little network and have a big sister or, a survey teacher or whatever. That would be, really cool. And so that was kind of my inspiration. But,
Could you talk about you talked about the women's voting groups, and are there sources now that bear any similarity to this idea, or where would women go now who are looking for this?
We did a little bit of research about that. We were trying to find what already is out there. And we came across one called
Glassbreakers.com.
And it was kind of along the same ideas as you make a profile and then basically get matched. But
It was an application process.
yeah,
It wasn't
there
open.
was an application process, and it seems to be less of the peer-to-peer, more of the definitely mentor matching sort of game.
And it might be like, it would be like, almost like if we said, wow, Beth is a great example of small business and entrepreneurship. So we're going to have her here, and then you can apply to be a part of this. You can be one of 3,000 women in Wichita who get to be mentored online by Beth. And what we're trying to do is that one-to-one.
And when we were asking the women, we did ask a few of them if they've ever been to like a mentoring program. And a few of them said they had. And it was like one person who was the mentor around the table with 8 mentees. And there was it's just never really a one-on-one situation, so they feel like they never have anything out of it. And so we were trying to develop a way to get them what they want.
Round of applause for Misfit. Thank you. Up next, we have my favorite logo of the competition, WiseSocket. Nora, when you speak.
No, it's.
If you guys are ready.
Hello, everyone. We, plus 3 other wise guys in the back, we are WiseSocket. What is WiseSocket? WiseSocket is the first modular, Wi-Fi enabled, Wi-Fi repeating electrical outlet. Have you ever had dark spots in your home that just annoy you? You have to stay in the kitchen or the living room. Well, with WiseSocket, you can install them in your home and no longer have dark spots. Another great thing about WiseSocket is you can store it in your basement in your wine cellar downstairs and check the humidity. Because WiseSocket is jam-packed with an array of integrated circuits in order to sense different things. The way you communicate with WiseSocket is through our app. We designed our app to be very user-friendly and very intuitive. So you're presented with the first screen, which has our 4 main sensors, which is humidity, temperature, motion, and electrical usage. You would click on one that you wanted to check on, and it would present you to a very nice graph, and it would tell you your temperature throughout your home or where you've incorporated WiseSocket. If your device is connected to the socket, it can tell you the wattage output, the motion in your home, how active everyone is, and your humidity levels. Our humidity levels are a little high because it's been raining a lot. So. Our customer base, our 2 big customer bases are homeowners and home builders. So there's 2 versions of the WiseSocket. There's the external version, which you just place into a normal existing outlet, and it would convert your outlet into a WiseSocket, and you'd be able to enjoy all the features of WiseSocket. And the other version is for home builders, which is an internal version, which would make your electrical outlet flush and look very clean and be very discreet.
So initially, we were planning to launch this through crowdfunding sources, and so we're going to launch an Indiegogo campaign. And so that's not only to raise funds, but to create buzz and get people involved with the process. So that's our initial things, and we're also going to promote it through trade shows, magazines, and ultimately we want to get it out in the retail stores as well. So we want to make the entry into our WiseSocket platform as inexpensive as possible. So even if you don't want to invest your whole house, you can get started as cheap as $49 for 2 sockets. So you can play around with it, have a feel for it, and before you spend any more money. And if you're a little bit more adventurous, you can do our 5 or 10 packs for under $200 or $100. Builders is our next biggest target market, and so we want them to be integrated into the house. If you're building a new home, we want every socket in the house to be a smart socket. And so we have builder prices for that. We estimate a regular US home has about 40 sockets and approximately $500,000. And the other one, the eggs, we call our add-ons eggs. It stands for electronically gathering sensors. And so you can add on additional sensors, functionalities. We have a whole array of things we will get to shortly, and we're estimating them to be about $10 million. So the other big thing that we are also in our business model is the subscription model. So our our sockets are data gathering units, and so what you can do with it. So base sockets have some base functionality. So all the things that he talked about a little bit ago. And then, but we also have some additional functionality that you can subscribe to and make use of these sensors through algorithms and all that other stuff. And some of that is home automation, elderly care monitoring, fire detection, and so on.
All right, so we looked at cost of production. We do have hardware engineers and software, as well as designers and a legal team on our team this year. We think we can produce these at about 10,000 quantity for around $8. If we can get into higher quantities, we think we can get the price down as low as about $4. And then for the eggs, which are the little add-on sensors, we think we can produce those for about $2. The commercial profits, that's where we're selling to home builders, those are a little lower, but they're offset by higher quantities. And also we think that the eventual homeowners of those homes are better targets for the subscription services, because the upfront cost is kind of hidden. Other potential costs that we see, we do need to complete the full development. We do have a prototype to show you here today, but it will need to be fully completed and functionally tested. There is some certification that goes along with creating outlets for residential use. And then as far as the data goes, we'll need to handle the data storage and the security of that data. But we're hoping to offset that cost from those subscriptions.
So for future growth, once we've gotten into homes and we've done our smart sockets, we wanted to increase, and we think of a wide strip. So if you didn't want to completely commit, but you had an entire ecosystem, your TV and your DVD player and all your things, and you wanted to control them, you could just put them on the strip and get all the functionality onto that strip. Another utility we were looking at is water usage and where you're using your water. If you have a leak, how can you save some money with your different utilities. So these are the full feature list. I mean, it's very open and it's continuous because it's a modular design with the eggs. So we have the repeating, which is the extending of the Wi-Fi throughout your home. The motion sensoring, so you can detect who's in the room to turn lights on or off. The owl, as you see, is actually our indicator for pairing. So you know that you're communicating with it as the lights up, and so you know that you're talking to the lights. The eggs, which are add-ons to make your home even wiser and for future development. And so the socket will have sensors in it, but if you wanted to do something like carbon monoxide or radon or some other form of sensing to gather different data for your home, you can just plug in the eggs and you're good to go. Oh, and now we have our demo, so it's the fun part. So
we
have
our first unit. We have our first unit connected to the lamp over there. We have one of our team members in the audience here with his computer, and he's able to control the lamp from his computer.
Cool.
Oh!
Turn it on, Cat.
Oh! All right, that's Y-sided.
Everyone else in the room probably knows the answer to this question. I don't. So could you talk about the current state of the technology? How much more do you need to do? How much of this is from off the shelf components?
Yeah, so all of this technology is available in separate pieces. And we really see that as a big problem with the smart home market. It's very disjointed. Everybody's making, this little piece. And unless you're very high, big techie, you don't know where to start. So we see this as really a combining of existing technologies, and it's a very easy entry point for homeowners who aren't necessarily tech savvy. They can buy this thing, they don't have to be getting wire into their house, they stick it in the wall outlet, and
And what protects you from once you do the initial work of putting this together, getting marketed, from all the other people who will say, sure, of course, we'll do that too, but we'll do it much cheaper than they will.
Well, our addition of the eggs is what would keep people on our boat because you're buying an ecosystem. Our eggs would help you develop more and only work with our product. We can also make it so that it can work with devices that you hook up to your computer, but it'd still be in our ecosystem.
Yeah, there's also some development that go into the algorithms, things like the home automation, security systems. And doing little things like, we noticed that your house isn't heating as fast as it used to, maybe it's time to go change your software algorithms like that that kind of work behind the scenes that aren't necessarily quite as repeatable.
So this seems closest in terms of recent successes to Nest as an idea. Could you just talk a little about how you're going to occupy a space and fill the space?
So part of this is we're developing a platform called the WISE platform. So, and it's certainly Nest because we are trying to be as open as possible and have APIs or integration apps. So it's not that they have to buy just our own products to integrate. We have ready-to-use products, but we have it open so other people can develop solutions based around our platform.
And there are unique home challenges for every home is different, and every home is unique, and every home has different challenges. So how do you solve those challenges? Nest is one built product, and it doesn't change. It's what it is what you get. With our product, you can modularize it with our eggs.
And the Nest, you have only two products in market at this point. There's the thermostat and the fire alarm systems.
Well, 3 technically, because they purchased Dropcam now.
Oh yeah.
And that's the other thing is I almost see this as an acquisition target for somebody like Nest. So if we can build this up and start getting this ecosystem going, this is definitely some technology that I can see that.
And this plays very well into the Internet of Things too. When you have the target Wi-Fi, the number of Wi-Fi devices in your home goes from 5 devices to 500. Every light bulb, every fridge, every little microwave device. Then the true potential of this platform becomes.
Yeah, because that's something I think we didn't quite touch on enough in our presentation here. Is that the idea behind this is if you have this in your whole house, it really blankets your entire house with Wi-Fi coverage. You don't have dead spots or dead zones where you can't get coverage. And so, like he's talking about the Internet of Things, as you get more and more devices, you're going to find more and more of those dead spots in your house. And with something like this, it'll even out that coverage. And those things will work better.
Because you're going to need a uniform Wi-Fi, even in the parts of your home you don't go to your basement, your attic, because there's going to be sensors or certain new devices that are going to come out, and they're going to need Wi-Fi. And if you're not prepared, well, then you're not going to utilize your home to its full potential.
Did you get a chance to go to Lowe's or someplace and just stand in the aisle with the other sort of electronic devices and talk to homeowners like myself? And
we didn't do a whole lot of talking to homeowners other than ourselves. I'm a homeowner. Yeah. We definitely did a lot of market research. We looked at what Lowe's had to offer. And it's that same thing I was talking about earlier. We're very disjointed. It's hard to figure out where do I start. What else do I need?
And it's very clunky. Everything is sort of like an adapter, and you have to put this other thing. It's just very. If you're very picky about your home, like a mom is, that's impossible.
One of the first things that I wrote down is that I love this idea, and I can tell because I've backed at least 3 different Kickstarters for different platforms for similar things. I've been a fan of the automated home since I was 12 years old, and I watched the Jetsons.
That's cool.
Yeah, but you're in a jungle market, and by that right now I mean it is thick with upstarts and billion-dollar valuations at the same time. How are you going to push through that clutter? Do you have a plan in place to differentiate yourself, to differentiate the product? Where do you go from here?
Well, our product is as unique as your home. The other products are a set thing. It is you are buying a Nest, and it is a Nest, and these are the features, and that's it.
Let me clarify. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
You're fine. I don't want to make it seem like I don't think I asked the question the wrong way. I believe you. Here, take my money. The problem is that I just heard you give that pitch, and you're going to have a hard time getting millions of people to sit down for 5 minutes and listen to that pitch. So, in lieu of being able to pitch your pitch, how are you going to get people to buy this product?
That is definitely the pitfall of the smart home market. It's seen as this market that's supposed to be exploding, and it's kind of sitting at the start gate. And there are a lot of competitors. We didn't talk about that a whole lot this weekend, to be honest. But I think the simplicity of it, almost the way that you can just you take it and you stick it into your outlet, and you're up and running. You've got temperature, humidity, motion detection, and outlet control all from an app like that. I think think that would really be the message that we push is that it's simple. You don't have to be a tech geek to get going.
But, and I agree, I'm serious, I want one. Like, I'll give you money for one. But you don't have a plan to get that pitch out yet.
So our main thing is to make what necessary for the thermostat market.
Okay.
You know, when you look at thermostat, it's the most boring thing you can think of to reinvent. But it is a fundamental need that every house, every homeowner needs. Same thing with the socket. Nobody pays attention to it at this point in time. So we want to make this work as seamless, you know, as the user experience is our driving force. The technology, we're pushing the technology down from the user experience down. And so when you, and we absolutely recognize there are competitors out there. You know, I mean, this is not by any means a finished battle. This is just beginning. And we want to get our foot in at the forefront, at the leading edge of this, and help define even, you know, what it is, how a smart home needs to work. You know, how simple it should be, and maybe even develop protocols and kind of define how it is that you can integrate various aspects of your home and make it, like you said, a Jetson thing. It shouldn't be a thought, it should just happen. You know, and that is our goal. And something we aspire to.
Yeah, we'll do the crowdsourcing thing too, and try to push it that way.
Okay.
But I mean, a lot of, like you said, you funded 3 of them, and there's a lot of them out there as well. I think something else we can push with this is the Wi-Fi repeating. I mean, you don't see a lot of that yet. They're starting to come on the market as standalone units. I've seen a few of them out there. So the ability to do that, as people start realizing that they need Wi-Fi coverage throughout their house, I think that'll be a great feature.
Who provides that now?
The people that buy, the people that make routers now, make the repeaters as
So
well.
Netgear,
Yeah.
Motorola, those
Yeah.
companies.
What are the chances that you'll pursue this idea?
I feel very strongly about this idea. We married our 2 ideas together. I came up with a socket that went into the wall and did Wi-Fi repeating. He came up with the sensors. We put the 2 together. Then we said, hey, this is too rigid. We need more. And we all came up with a modular thing. So there's totally 2 proof out there. Yeah, that's Jonathan. That's all Jonathan or man.
How many plugs do you need to sell to break even? How many do you need? What's your scale goals?
Yeah, I think if we did a crowdfunding campaign, we would be aiming for 10,000 units. Like I said, we try to get that cost around $8. So then you're talking about like an $80,000 to $100,000 crowdsourcing, which is a pretty high threshold, but at the same time, it's a threshold that's realistic. Like we could really make it for that. And so I think that would be the initial one. And that would be, so that's breaking even on the production, but then you're selling it for more than that, so that you have units left to continue and try to raise money.
How about a big hand for WiSocket?
We have 3 team members that are 3 wise guys.
Oh, okay.
We have Jonathan, Bob, and Wise.
Up next is Hub Soup.
Woo!
All right. You guys ready?
Okay.
All right.
All right, guys, we are Hub Soup. So there's a problem.
There's nothing to do in Wichita. You hear this all the time. You guys have probably even said it yourselves. But it's not true. The problem is that you can't find things that are available in Wichita. So HubSoup is a website that's going to bring community into the events that are here. So there's some events that are really easy to see, you know, Interest Arena, things like that. But events like Startup Weekend are not as well known yet. So our website aims to bring up a community of people based on users' likes that kind of blend together based around those interests and those events that are going to also interest those groups, and build up community around events and then around businesses. So the way we're going to do this is through proprietary statistics around user interest and gathering data in the back end for that. Awareness, it'll bring up awareness for some of the less known events around Wichita, and event creators that are just starting out. It will also support their businesses as well. Okay, I'm going to hand it off to Connor to talk about our mission.
Okay. All right. Well, the main mission of this is like he said, everybody thinks there's nothing to do with Wichita. We've talked to lots of people who have tried to do this before, who have wanted to create a hub. So the mission really is to allow people to discover, to connect, and to collaborate throughout the city. Individuals, businesses, events, organizations, everything. So it's not just an event calendar. It's not just about venues. It's about bringing all those people together and showing what Wichita has to offer for everybody. So it connects the dots that and reduces the friction of going to all these different sites, which right now you have to go to. You know, if you want to find this, you have to go to this site. You have 10 different sites you have to go to find the events that you want. So it's hard to find what you want. So this allows you to discover, connect, collaborate in a way that doesn't currently exist. Okay, so we currently have the website up at hubsoup.co. So I encourage you all to check it out if you have your laptop open or your phone. But basically, this is the main layout. You have featured events. You have upcoming events, which will also be tailored if you create an account. That will give you recommendations based on your profile that you create, on the interests that you put in. You know, if you're interested in technology or you're a student, you fill out the information, and then it dynamically produces results and events tailored to you. And then when you go to the events, it gives you, obviously the certain information, but it also gives you information on the venue. The organizer allows you to directly input it into your calendar, either through Google, through Apple, whatever you may use. And as well as the events, it also allows you to get some exposure for, say, the organizer or where this place is happening. So the Labor Party we're at right now is a venue for Startup Weekend. So all these things go together, and then you have an account where you can create and join communities, create communities, communicate, and start to come together through the website and through the events and everything like that on the website itself. So I'll hand it over to Ken, who is been doing some on the back end development.
So this right here, this is going to be our featured section, which people will be featured, and that's going to be a paid subscription, kind of like a paid billboard. This is the area where I mainly focus on right here. This gives you suggestions based on my algorithm, which uses your preferences, your cache history, and your geolocation to tailor specific suggestions towards you, so that there's a lot of events going on, but which events are actually specific to you. That's what this is going to do. And by clicking on one of these events that is specific towards you, as a recommendation, we're able to mine the amount of traffic, and we can correlate that traffic with people who are actually going to your business. And by using that, we can present that to the business owners. And we can see if they'd like to be a premium user or become a premium user be featured on our page.
Okay, so I'm going to discuss some of the marketing side. There's two key customer groups that we've identified. There's businesses that are the event creators, and then there's the general end user, which is pretty much all of us. So the way we're going to market initially to gain awareness for the business side is partnering with businesses by basically hitting the streets and going out, raising awareness for what we're doing, and explaining the benefits of businesses pairing and partnering with us to get their information on our site. On the end user side, we're going to provide vinyl stickers to businesses similar to Foursquare and Facebook, some of those things they put up on the door, so you can identify that business and check in and that kind of thing. We'll also get involved with the Wichita Business Journal and other local publications to get spots out on those, and advertising through sponsors such as potentially the Wichita Chamber of Commerce. We thought a little bit about monetization. Initially, it'll probably be sponsorships like the Wichita Chamber of Commerce or some of the larger businesses potentially. Once we get the app going, there'll be clickable dynamic ads on there that'll generate some more revenue for us. So where we're at right now, we need to develop the mobile app and clean up some of the back end coding and combine that in with the front end. Begin developing sponsors and get some interest. And then we want to launch in Wichita as a test market, kind of work out the bugs, make sure that we're capturing as much of the event traffic as we can, and then expand this into other cities because it's built to be flexible and we can scale it up to Chicago or New York or anything. Perfect. That's all we got.
Okay. I've served for the last 6 years on the chamber board, and I know that there's been, in all the visioning and all the conversations, there is a real gap with retaining young talent and answering that sort of need to be able to connect, particularly our young professionals, with things in the community. But could somebody just explain to me again how this is any different from a community calendar? Because I hear what you're saying, but it still feels to me very much like a parking spot for everybody to just make sure you've got one source for events. And I understand that, but how is it really different from Visit Wichita's community calendar?
I had an exact same question.
Well, yeah, we have, our real focus is tailoring things specifically. So there's the concept of econometrics, where you take people's individual preferences, and everything can be broken down into econometrics. If you like a specific set of things, we can recommend a specific set of things. And this is our product. We reduce friction by connecting people with what they want already that's out there. Ken didn't know this existed for a very, very long time, and he's been looking for it for a very, very long time. And this ties really in with our monetization as well, because you've all seen ads. Like if you look for something you may want to buy on the internet, then all of your Amazon ads are going to be that thing for the next 3 months. So we've all, so many companies have tried to tailor advertisements, but usually by the time Amazon catches wind of it, you've already purchased that thing. But if we can show that if people are coming to our app asking, where do we want to go today? And we can show, because we've got geolocation data, this is, the person is saying, I want you to use my data to figure out what I want to do. We can show the people who came to our app, they then went to your store. We can show how many people did that. And I think a lot of businesses would be interested in partnering with us with that. So it's really the algorithm, the econometrics that sets us apart.
And I would add to that as well. Wichita is huge. It's very discombobulated. There's so many niches. I had to go through probably 15, 20 different calendars to synthesize a Wichita calendar hub for a political campaign I ran in order for us to go and know about things. That shouldn't happen. We want to scrape all that data, put it on this site. We're gonna have what's happening now, and we want to recommend it to you because there's so much going on. Like, there's nothing going on, but there's so much going on. So the recommended to you is partially like, let us help you out, maybe what you like.
And we also provide the community feature where you create an account and you can also create groups and have conversations, groups of people that are interested in the same things. You know, if you're interested in technology and entrepreneurship, then you can find a group for, you know, Labor Party, Dev ICT, Women Who Code, all these similar groups. And then those also, when you tailor your interests with your profile, then you start to get those events that are tailored towards you, and then that you may never ever heard about. And you go to them because that's what you're interested in, and you meet like-minded people, and you start to build these communities and it's all about people and bringing people together, right? So a lot of us didn't know about this, a lot of us didn't know what Labor Party about, you know, but we had to go out and find it to make it happen.
I tried really hard.
And this is a tool that allows you to kind of synthesize that and bring it together to where you can tailor that so you can find those things, you can find like-minded people, organizations, groups, and then also communicate through the website with other people that are interested in those same things and start that conversation and start that connection.
And from the user, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to add to that. That's where my mining comes into with the algorithm. Is it mines, you know, this person really likes, let's say in our location, there's Japanese restaurants, and someone really likes Japanese restaurants. It mines that from their preferences, and it combines that with their geolocation. And so if someone's hungry right now and they like those things, instead of Googling and trying to find the answer, which gives a dozen results, which may not correlate with them, we can correlate, you know, there's wasabi over there, or Hana Cafe, which is specific towards the user. And that's what's going to show up on their recommendations. It's things that are specific to the user based on what we figure out with the algorithm.
So I'm hearing the data mining. I get that it's going to be specific to the user. In practical terms, from a functionality standpoint, how is that going to happen?
Well, basically, every time you use this website or this app, it's going to ask you questions. And it's going to look at where you go and what you're interested in. And like, we're assuming that the user wants their information to be found here. So we're really going to gather a lot of information, and after that, it's a lot of correlation and math. And this is a really, really difficult problem. But it's not a problem that hasn't been, you know, worked on before. A previous speaker mentioned like dating websites and how, you know, people have been algorithmically brought together. We just want to bring different things together algorithmically.
Your revenue estimates, even 5 years out at the highest audience projection levels, will mean that you will have done an astonishing amount of work and got virtually no return on it. Did you look at a different revenue model that might have produced a much higher return?
We've, with that one, we were using basically just the single stream of clickable ads. So that's a range from really low to like 1 cent up to a high of 87 cents just for the clickable ad section. One of the nice things about our business model is that it's really cheap to run. We figured out $10 gets us support for 5,000 to 10,000 active users. And so in a market like that, yeah, so like in a market like this, the startup fees for this business are pretty low. So if we can identify just a few other revenue streams, including sponsorship, we can start to.
Yeah. You just don't seem to have valued your own time.
That's the whole thing. It's a time. But one of the things that when I brought this idea up is this isn't about. I mean, it could be, but this isn't about $1 million idea. This is about a city that we all live in, that we care about, and that people, not just us that are staying here, but people that I've talked to around the city for the past 3 months who are interested in this and who want this to happen. And you know, this is something that can bring so much more value than just revenue stream. You know, it can bring value to the city. It can keep young people here. It can bring young people here. you know, and so that really separate, I mean, and there's a business model behind it, but it's also something that has value beyond, you know, the revenue stream, especially if you have vested interest in this.
Yeah, and you could assume that the previous calendars, if you want to look at 360 Wichita, for example, Joe, you know, they were told to put a calendar up and put some things on it. They weren't passionate about it. They didn't care about bringing all these different types of people together. And not just people, events, Wichita. That's what we want to do. We want to do it in the most efficient way. And we don't have a whole lot of overhead. Really, it's just our time. And yeah.
Put a hand for Hub Soup. Last but not least, we have NFP Pro. All right. Woo!
Like I'm like yelling about it. Like no, oh my
All right, sir.
You guys ready? Okay. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Oh, hey, maybe. Technical difficulties. Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
All right, take it away.
Hi, I'm Susie, and I have a problem at work sometimes. And that problem is that we have a director of a nonprofit, and we have a ton of board members and volunteers that help us get our great work done. But we don't have one easy way to manage all of the documents and activities that those people are doing. If we need to do a vote as a board in between board meetings, we don't have a way to do that. So there's a lot of different things that exist out there, but they don't help us solve all of our problems in one system. And if we had this solution, it would really free up a lot of my time as the director to be able to go out and get more members and represent us in the community and accomplish our mission even better. So I was coming to this weekend really hoping that we could find a solution to make our lives even easier.
Glad you said that, Susie. I can.
All right.
So what we are, NFP Pro, not-for-profit pro. There's a lot of not-for-profits out there. There's over 1.5 million not-for-profits in the United States alone. It's a lot of places, and a lot of them are experiencing this exact same kinds of issues out there. They don't have a way to manage their board. They don't have a way to manage the volunteers. They don't have a way to manage the fundraising, and they don't have a way to manage the membership all in one place. There's a lot of systems out there that do those things individually very well, but they don't talk to each other, and they're not just one system. So we are a not-for-profit management system allowing for board, fundraising, volunteer, and membership management all in one. So when you log into NFP Pro, you're going to get a dashboard right off the bat. You're going to be able to see, are there any media mentions about my company out there? We're going to scrape or go out and aggregate any news into one location. You can see what is going on. List out of the documents. We're going to provide reporting with graphics, graphs showing things such as, are we meeting our expected revenue goals? What are our expenses versus revenue? How are our membership doing? We're going up, we're going down. Where are we at with everything? Calendaring, one of the biggest parts of this whole thing. We'll get into that in a second. Action items. As a board member, when I log in, what do I need to do? Is there something that's expected of me? And an area for community discussions within the board. Our calendaring system. One huge problem is when you're in a not-for-profit board, everybody's got different email addresses, they've all got different calendars. To get the availability between those board members is really, really difficult. You have to use products like Doodle, and if you've ever used it, it's just a pain. So what we've come up with is a way to sync those calendars. So you can select Sync My Calendar, choose what kind of calendaring system you're using, Google, Microsoft Office, Outlook, 365, Hotmail, whatever you're using for your calendaring system. Put in your credentials, it'll keep that in real time synced to the system so your availability is always out there. Or you can choose a manual sync, and very easy, just highlight the blocked areas where you have time that's available instead of choosing 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Very quick, very easy for people to do. Vote system, Cowtown board, we had a horse die. So we had to have an emergency vote to be able to allocate the funds to purchase another horse. We had to go out and we had to acquire a teleconferencing system, pay for it, so we could all call in and just issue a vote. Here we can just go in online, set up a voting system, a secure way. We can do two-factor authentication to make sure that we're going to have the right person logging into the system all the time. Capture the votes, we're done. Very simple, very easy. Document management. This is a real issue for a lot of places out there, document management. We're going to be able to color code the systems, color code the files out there, the folders, to keep things separate and easy, have an indexing system of what's in there, and tagging. So you can tag your files and be able to search and find those files pretty easily. 3 gigs of storage will come with every account. Reporting, super important, already touched on that. Be able to graphically look at what's going on across the organization quickly when you log in as a board member. A board discussion tool where you can go out and be able to attach videos to it to say what you need to do, have the discussions, a threaded commentary going on, much like Facebook or something like that, where we can record and have those conversations out there. There's a ton of other features we want to add into this as well. A fundraising module, volunteer module, membership module, umbrella management, where one not-for-profit that's over many not-for-profits can come in, manage those not-for-profits and see the information in one place for everything that's underneath them. Templates for reports, such as directors' reports, meetings, minutes, agendas. You go in, fill them out, they're automated. Most importantly, automated workflows. Go in, you create a new board member, it'll go out and find everything that says board member and the tag for document, assemble the board book, and automatically email it to you. You can set up a number of different workflows to be able to make that happen. So the pricing we're looking at here is, we actually have 2 different pricing models. So the first one is we'd like to take this to a national not-for-profit and say this is what we're trying to do, and actually have them fund this thing and give it away for free to anybody with 20 or less board members. They can charge the much they want after that. Can't make that happen, then we do have a pricing structure here. We would give it away to anybody with 5 or less board members for free, $25 a month for 6 to 20 board members, 21 to 50, $50 a month, and above that, you gotta call for pricing. You can do the add-on modules for $10 a month. Not-for-profits just flat don't have a lot of money, and it's not out there. So we have to make this as reasonable as possible. For the initial phase of this, we estimate a $75,000 to $100,000 investment for intellectual capital and the hosting. We figure we can do up to about 250 accounts a month on just a $500 plan. We want to keep the hosting for each one of these accounts between $3 to $5, always less than that, so that we have at least a $20 profit for each one of them. If they want to buy more storage, that would be available to them. And then, of course, the subscription cost for the add-on modules they want to put into it. So we want to make it as absolutely as inexpensive as possible for a not-for-profit to be able to operate. So I think that's pretty much it.
wants to steal spotlight, so he was waiting for everybody else. Okay, great. So, I don't know much about nonprofits, so I'm gonna ask a stupid question first. There's a lot of these things that are duplicated with, like Google for Business, right?
Partially.
But, and yeah, partially, absolutely. But in my estimation, that probably, like, just thinking through that would not work, because then everybody has to have that email address and log in for that stuff.
Correct. And that's one of the biggest problems is everybody does have separate email addresses. So you have to find a way to centrally manage those. So those don't really work very well.
Right.
Plus, there's a lot of functionality that just isn't there. It's forcing the square peg into the round.
Completely agree. As a guy with 4 different Google accounts, I know that. So, there is I applaud you for solving a problem that exists in real life that you know about. Very good.
It's not a sexy problem, but it's neat.
That's right. And then, I really don't have another question, so.
What do nonprofits use now besides Google, but more sophisticated ones like the Chamber?
So we have something called Public that does our membership management. Some other groups have others that do the sales management, and then we have our internal servers, but our volunteers and boards, they can't access those. So it's just emailing things out, or some people use Google, some people use Dropbox. There's lots of different things, and it depends on the volunteer preference. And so as a staff person, I have to then make sure I can log into all of those different things. Some workplaces block Google Drives or Google Apps in the workplace, so then those volunteers can't access those things if they're going to do some work with their lunch break or something like that. So there's a lot of different issues.
They're very disparate systems. I mean, they're all over the place. And we would like to see some kind of functionality at some point where you could go in and maybe if the organization did have a Google Drive they wanted to attach to it, we could attach to it and still manage those files through our document file system. So.
And is 250,000 what you're thinking, or if you could go out and get a big ask?
I'm thinking as a total overall complete system based on other projects that I've done before. I actually think we could probably pull this in for between 150 and 2, but for other pieces of the puzzle, it would be, that would be the ask we would go for.
When you say funds will be required for intellectual capital, what do you mean by that?
Developers, they're intellectual capital. They're amazing people. We had none, so.
You have, so you guys know this problem well, and it's going to be, it's interesting that I'm asking Susie and Bill, and not the rest of you, but Bill, you came from tech support. Susie, you came from not-for-profit. Bill, you now work in not-for-profit. Those are, in my estimation, 2 slow changing industries. How much friction are you going to face getting this technology into past the approval of a nonprofit board and then the nonprofit IT outsourced company for internal parts?
So we think of this as more of a not-for-profit operating system. That's really kind of what it is. It manages the entire thing. So we do have some problems with, for instance, Cowtown, where we use Basecamp. And it's so difficult to use. We're trying to force it to do that a lot of people stopped using it. They logged in, they thought it was neat, but it was too hard to use. So you have to provide that simple interface that makes things easy. And that's why I really like the dashboard. I mean, you log in, you see exactly what's going on. That's it right there. I think if you make the system so simple for them, it's a no-brainer.
I think you will probably see a little bit of friction in terms of just switching costs. If they already do have a member management module or, use Razor's Edge or something like that, they've already got all the data in there. That may be one area that there would be a little bit of pushback. So we would probably need to do a little bit more research to figure out how we can make it easy to port that in.
But I feel like the organization can see the strategy as a whole of one system where everything is contained as just incredible. It makes them so much more efficient. Communications with board members, there's emails flying all over the place. You have 30 copies of files. By the time you're done, 3 people have different copies, and they all think it's the final version. It's a horrible situation to be in. I think that they could see the wisdom.
Yeah, if you're in the trenches doing the work and you've been on a board, having it all in one place you don't really have to think too hard. You're wanting it before it's been built. There's not a lot of convincing involved.
And this is the perfect kind of scenario for an Indiegogo if we had to go to that kind of funding. I mean, really, the not-for-profit industry is just dying for something like this. It's a problem across anybody I've ever talked to who works on a not-for-profit board. Who has this problem? Yeah, it's huge.
Thanks, guys.
I'm going to wish the judges away to the judging chamber where they're going to judge, and Seth is going to talk to you.
Please stay seated for a moment.
So hang tight.
We're gonna go back. Oh, yes.
Right here. Bye.
All right. While I still have you guys' attention, I'm going to talk while I'm looking this up so I don't lose you, but bear with me here.
Talk louder. Talk even louder.
Talk louder.
How's this?
That's good. Keep going.
Getting nothing. Come on. Give me a second. Okay.
So I'll talk real fast so you can hear that.
Okay, so like I had mentioned, this is my first time organizing it as a lead, and so of course we have a couple things to work out. And next time, since we have this momentum behind us, the next one will be even better. And if you thought this one was fun, you guys should come up to the next one, which doesn't even have a date because it hasn't even started being planned yet. But what I would like you to do, and I really appreciate it, because our next goal is to get more and more people out every time. This was a great turnout, but we want even more next time. So once you hear the date announced in about a month or so, start pushing it. Push it early, talk to friends about it, tell people about your experience with it, and help us grow this to the next level. And here's that.
All right, so I have a couple of things to announce real quick. So I wanted to announce the prizes. So I don't think we ever went over the prizes at the beginning of the weekend. So first of all, I want to say that's pretty awesome that everybody's still, stuck around. So let's give a round of applause for them. We could have no prizes. But we do have some awesome prizes this time. For the Judge's Choice, so we'll have two winners. We'll have Judge's Choice and Community Choice. For Judge's Choice, we're going to have $2,500 in legal counsel credit for Martin Pringle. So that's awesome. Yeah, let's give a round of applause for that. We're also going to have a 3-month Labor Party membership, so access to this co-working space for the teams to come and continue on in their startup. So that's also awesome. And then thanks to Uptime Devices, the Judge's Choice will get $400 in Amazon gift cards split among the team. So that's pretty awesome as well. So the Community Choice will also be receiving a 3-month Labor Party membership and $200 in Amazon credits or Amazon gift cards from Uptime Devices. So yeah, so now you guys can actually be excited about that. And then while I still have you, I just want to give one more thanks to all of our sponsors. We got Martin Pringle, the Chamber of Commerce and Entrepreneurship Task Force, Baseline Creative, the Labor Party, Network Kansas, the Butler IT Institute, Uptime Devices, CallCap, Hotel Old Town, the Donut Hole, and then our national sponsors with Up Global, Google for Entrepreneurs, and .co. So the judges are going to be deliberating for a little while. Awesome. Of course it goes away. So we have a poll where you, as the community, the people who are attending here, please don't share this link outside of here. This is only for the people who actually were watching and came to see these presentations. If you visit this link, you'll be able to put in one vote for your favorite team, and whoever gets the most votes will determine the community choice winner. So again, in the past, we have allowed teams to send out this link to their friends. Please do not do that. If I see a ton of votes on there, it's gonna, we'll see how many votes come in. So please just keep it self-contained within this audience, so we can keep it fair. So Judges should be back shortly. Whenever they come back down, we're going to cut off the polls in the community choice, and both winners will be announced. So get your votes in.
Oh, that's it. For the capital O.
Yes.
Yeah, capital O.
Yeah, capital O.
Aha.
And it is case sensitive. I know that's annoying. Sorry.
More secure that way.
You doing it?
It's going to be one of the few good uses of the QR code.
Yeah.
We're screwed, Brittany.
Oh.
I feel like that's like, you should have to go through something.
You can't stop it. Also, just one more thing to say. We have food still in the kitchen and plenty of soda and drinks. So please, while we're waiting on the judges, feel free to get up, stretch your legs, go to the kitchen, get something, make yourself at home.
Our team is missing. We don't have both jobs.
To just have just like to just have the yeah, but I guess we actually do this work.
It's not,
Oh yeah, go on the whole thing about job description. Oh, really this job and other jobs. They want to yeah, that's lost like 4 people. That's actually fun. I wanted more about more sponsorship. I talked to my Gary? I'll take it Friday. Yes,
So about once a year, I get really bad vertigo. It's like I'll just be sitting there, I'll be sitting, and it's usually when I'm concentrating. Almost always when I'm playing piano, and bam, I don't know which way is up. And this year's happened right before our time, which is that's the first time it's ever happened like in a high environment. So I'm just playing piano. I mean, it's sort of just like, have you ever played like a first-person shooter and like there's a cinematic where an explosion goes off and the vision delivers? It's just like a visual thing. It's not like a bomb going off, You got one of these yet?
Yeah, okay. I don't know you.
Okay. I have like 1,000. That's my business email, so it actually triggers a notification if you email me frequently on my other email. Before I got a job, I was in science, so. You do like WordPress sites too, right?
Like small things there's like a
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also do videography.
You might ask, Michael, why do you know your own phone number? God, I never call myself. I need to just change the time out on the screen. Just save time a little bit. Feedback for your team. Normally I put them back. Alright, everybody. The judges have come to their decision. I don't know how to close this. That's all right.
Naomi, do you use spreadsheets very often?
I use
spreadsheets perhaps?
Yeah.
No?
I don't either. Okay, never mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh man. Oh man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my gosh, we have a tie for community choice. No, we have a tie for second. Never mind. That second doesn't matter. Okay. Wise Socket took it by a fucking landslide.
What?
Wise Socket took it by a landslide
Yeah.
for community choice. They could have got judges choice too. What do we do with the if they get the gift cards? They just get the full 600. All right. Shit. Yeah, no, that's great. And I've got the check for that still, so I'll get all their emails, make sure it gets sent to them.
So do we ask people to stick around and keep it?
Yeah, they certainly can.
Maybe we take sessions.
I want to. I have to.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah, I have to. My mom's on her way here. If I can meet her at all, live stream is getting all of this. I keep forgetting.
This is good.
iOS or Android? What is it?
Web focused mostly, but I've done a lot of Android and some iOS too. I have too many business cards anyway. So this is probably the best one. I run the developer community from WebICT. So this is it's not part it's not my own position.
So actually, I have a company. I have two guys. We are basically co-founders. We are working on some apps. But the guys are like, I'm not representing. I'm more like the mechanical side.
I'm also involved in one startup outside that. I'm just trying to actually. Yeah, I But some great developers who can come up with money to pay them for work, they do call you, all right, that's the thing.
It's done. Initially, we want to do like there's no money spent.
How much average for just a paper development? I think it depends on the process entirely. But I know, I think an average hourly rate is it can be anywhere from like 60 all the way up to about 100. I don't think there's many in town who would charge over 100 an hour. But I think probably average is around 70 an hour. And then, but those are the people who are like an hour before those developers. It's going to be a lot. They get a lot done. So, yeah, you definitely see. I mean, it's not worth it just trying to have those conversations and see if there's some ideas. If you've got a vision and a good business plan and insights and everything, I want to see that. That's my problem with developers locally, is that none of them are, or there's not very many of them are willing to get into stuff because they haven't seen it succeed. You got yourself in Valley, it's happening all over the place. The developers are, so they don't have that.
How important that area love to have us.
What's that? I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it.
All right. We have a winner. I'm not going to announce, don't worry. It's not mine, don't worry.
Everybody wants to take their seats. The judges are back, and they're going to announce the winner. So I want to go ahead. I think we'll start with community choice.
Clap once if you can hear me. Clap twice if you can hear me. Okay.
Hell of an organizer. The judges wanted to start with some brief observations. First of all, everyone did a fantastic job, so please give yourselves a round. So, two pro tips for the future, because it made a difference to us when people did this well. The first is be able to tell your story succinctly and do that immediately at the top, and then reinforce it as you go. So your story is the first thing that captures the investor's attention. The second thing is almost all of you needed to do a much better job of introducing yourselves, not just your names, but what your expertise was, what your passion was. Because if someone is thinking about investing in your company, what they're really talking about is investing in you, and we need to know you better right from the beginning.
So mine are going to be a little more touchy-feely, but I think these are important as well. One of the things that, as an entrepreneur, I've always known and understood how important it is to connect your idea with your passion. Lou spoke about it a little bit, but it's okay to kind of show your slope a little bit and really talk about what it is that you love. It was clear that a number of you were really connected to what you were doing, but it's okay to tell potential investors or people you're pitching to that you're absolutely so freaking in love with this that you can really stand it. It makes a difference. The other thing I'll tell you is, and I think for all 5 of the teams that presented that could have been really helpful, and this is more a future comment for you, and that is establish right now where your niche is and understand very clearly what differentiates you and makes you special at whatever it is that you're doing. Because finding your niche and sticking to your mission are really important to differentiating yourself for future success. So if I can give that tip, hopefully that's helpful.
Bringing it home. To underscore what they've just said, the thing that we were left with in the judges' room is we had to ask ourselves and each other what made each team different. Like what was different? What was different about the team from the industry, etc. So differentiation is kind of the underscore of those 2 things. From the design and user experience aspect, there were some really great designs, and there were some not so great designs. I've been told not to pull any punches. So there were some designs that I wrote boring, that I wrote, I can't remember what else I wrote, but they were not positive things. There are a lot of people, and ask someone next to you, does this look good? And make them give you an honest answer. A real friend will say that sucks, and that's how you know they're real friends. And you know, I'm kidding. Okay. What are you gonna do? I wanted to start. I love you all. Some of you I just met. I don't want you to hate me. I love you all. Thank you. I'm actually a jerk, and not all of you know that. I'm a terrible person, and so it's going to show. Prototypes. I think we saw 2 prototypes. That's how many we could count. We saw some mock-ups. It's about building, and I know we're short of developers, but build. It's all about testing. Even if you just say, we showed these prototypes to people who are actually going to use it, and they said, this looks like they can understand. We asked the question, where would you click next? And they always said, here. That would have been really great information for us to have. We didn't have it. It all comes back down to customer validation again, talking to your customers, even if it's just 7 of them. I was comparing everybody's validation to Go Coach, because they had real numbers that they were able to put up on the screen, and that brought them forward. And then to boil it down to the minimum viable product again, this is the one problem that we're solving, and this is how we're solving it. There were some probing questions that we had to ask to figure that out for a couple of you. And now for next steps, I always get asked, how many Startup Weekend companies are still out there? And I'm able to point to a few good examples. Michael, he's one of them. He's got 54-hour game company from 2 Startup Weekends ago. And that's great. But the real value of this weekend is not the 5 companies that were presented up here. It's all of you guys now know each other. So if you found someone you like, figure out what to do next. If you found an idea that you really are passionate about, then go for it. And I'll be honest, there's not one of these ideas that I thought was bad or dumb, which is not something I can say for every Startup Weekend either. These are all good ideas. And so if you want to keep going and you need my help, or you think you might need my help, please, it's easy to get a hold of me. Ask me, let me know what I can do to make that happen. And if you care, keep working. If you don't care, try something else. But overall, great job, guys. There's some room for improvement, but it's a good Startup Weekend. And
All right, so thank you, judges. We definitely have some great people. So we're going to go ahead and announce community choice first. So I don't have an envelope, I just know who it is. But let's make this dramatic. Can we get some kind of drum roll? People pat on the leg. All right. Wine socket. Here's your trophy. You also each get an individual certificate. Your prizes for community choice are $200 Amazon gift cards and a 3-month membership to the local party. So congratulations. All right. One, am I revealing judge's choice too?
Well, we're taking pictures, but.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, one more drum roll. Ready? Judge's choice goes to. Stop right there, guys. It's mine.
Get back up there!
Sorry. $600 in Amazon gift cards. Anyone want to say anything?
Yeah, I gotta go. This is too. It's great design, by the way. I want to thank the Startup Weekend, the Labor Party, everyone that met. It's been a great blast. It's been fun. We even stayed here till 5 in the morning, maybe.
Yeah.
We blew some stuff up, which is what makes me really proud about electronics. I love you all.
Amazing people.
Amazing. It's amazing. Come back. Let's build more stuff. Let's make more things happen. Let's not make Wichita boring.
Drop it.
Good work.
Well done.
Good work. Alright, so that's all we have for you tonight, guys. Real quick, I just want to say one more word. Clap once again, hear me. Alright, clap. Alright, so I want big thanks again to everybody involved. I want to thank the other organizers, all the teams that participated, everybody who came out. Jeff, especially our facilitator, he was awesome this time. So, this is his first time. That sounded wrong. Our coaches, thank you to the coaches, thank you to the judges, thank you to all the sponsors. This event went great. I was super nervous because this has been my first time being involved in organizing. So everything went smoothly. It was awesome to see so many people come out. I also want to give a shout to Midwest Digest over here. Last year in town, they've been covering this weekend, and it's been awesome having them around. Check them out at Midwest Digest.
MidwestDigest.ninja.
MidwestDigest.ninja. That is real. So check it out.
That's an actual website.
And yeah, and follow Startup Wichita on Twitter. And if you are interested in being involved in this event next time in any way at all, just get in touch with us. I think Ken might want to say something real quick.
Right, so the whole thing is about community right. Every third Thursday at Public, 5 p.m. to like 7 p.m. is a thing called Third Thursdays. Sometimes there's free food and drink. Sometimes it's just you buy your food and drink and talk to cool people. But make sure you come. And if we have your email address, so we'll send you email reminders about that, I promise. Maybe not, but I really hope that we do. If I remember, we will. If not, just show up. That's all.
Cool. All right. You don't have to take off. You can mingle for a little while. So stay and hang out, talk to the teams, keep meeting people, and thank you for coming.